Harp on Sports, the Bar, podcast, media, audio, and radio network. What do we have in store for you on this edition of the program? A little scholarship sellout. NCAA making the big announcement. Conferences are excited. Schools are excited. 20 more scholarships for football. Baseball's tripling. Softball doubling. Volleyball adding 6. Some of those sports, it's great. I don't know why you need, 34 scholarships in baseball when you only had 11, 12. Baseball's always been underutilized. I get it. Football needs to decrease scholarships, not add. Yeah. Softball's the one that probably makes about the most sense of what they're doing. Baseball, it's too much. Softball, probably. Volleyball, too much, maybe a little bit. Why? It's a scholarship sellout, and it's going to be tough for you to look me in the eye now and tell me how valuable scholarships are when you're handing them out like Toll House cookies. Passing these out like a bowl of potato chips. Now, yeah. So we'll look at that. Also, the Rays trade parade. Randy Rosarina, apparently on the block. Zach Eflon, apparently on the block. Isaac Paredes on the block. And, I'm going to about face. I thought if they trade Paredes a couple weeks ago, I'm like, what are you thinking? It makes sense. I went through and looked at the Rays minor league, and why moving all 3 of these guys by this weekend may make sense. It just may. Especially one of them. One of them makes absolute sense. So we'll look at that. And also, we're going to wrap with a little Olympic Opps. I like the Olympics. Team USA, as much as Americans love America, not very passionate about Team USA. Much as we say we love America. Good God. And there's a reason why the Olympics have lost a little bit of their luster, but there's some major storylines. I can't think of an Olympics where you have this elite level stardom going into it. And the 3 things that I am circling over the course of the next few weeks. Again, Harp on Sports, the Bar, podcast, media, audio, radio network. Follow, share, like, subscribe at Harp on Sports, Twitter, at Harp on Sports, Instagram, Harp on Sports, the auditory route, Buzzsprout, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Harp on Sports, the Bar, Harp on Sports, the Bar YouTube channel, Harp on Sports Facebook page, and of course, harponsports.com. All right, a little scholarship sellout. I'm all for opportunities. I am. Giving people opportunities is great. But when I saw that softball was going to be adding more scholarships, I'm like, okay, where are they right now? They're at 12. What are they going to be? 15, 16, 25? Good God. Well, okay, good for them. Good for softball for making that leap. Volleyball going to add 6. I'm like, okay, from 12 to 18. All right. By the way, this is going to backfire. Watch. Basketball's adding, 2? It's like, okay, 13 to 15. All right. Baseball, 11.7, which is always ridiculous, to 34. I'm like, all right. Not 30. College base, you don't need 34 scholarships, gang. You don't. Not per team. You don't. That's an overreaction. And football going from 85 to 105 is just ridiculous. There's 22 dudes on the field. You have 5 times as many guys staring at the game as watching it or playing it. Come on. And it all makes sense when you get right down to it, right? If you got 22 guys that play, you're going to have a 5-to-1 ratio in football, 4-to-1. Baseball, 34, 9 guys on the field, about 4-to-1 ratio. Softball, 2.5-to-1. Volleyball, 3-to-1. Basketball, 5-to-1. Look, again, I'm all for opportunities and the slush fund and the money that's going into it. And this shows you how much more money people are making in the schools and preferred scholarships. And they don't have to exactly, they can be grants. I get it. It's complicated. It's at times obtuse. But what it is, it's completely, and look, I have no problem with this. talking about how valuable scholarships are now, you can stop that. You never get to double anything and tell me it's worth it. In the history of finance, you can't. You can't hand out things and tell me they're valuable. Not like this. You can't say scholarships are special, they're unique. Only 11.7 for baseball. It's a little low. Okay, we're going to do 34 now. Scholarships are special. Oh, they are? They are? There are, what, 70 scholarships, additional scholarships? You're going to look me in the eyes and tell me they're special? Don't underestimate an education. No, there's nothing about underestimating an education. It's the difference between underestimating, overestimating, and undervaluing. And that's what this is. When you're passing out scholarships, like they're lollipops, the NCAA and major college sports are now passing out scholarships like it's trick or treat. Okay, but don't tell me it's special. You can can that narrative. Empty rhetoric. Empty rhetoric. So what's it mean? It means the upper brass are going to be able to stockpile talent. It is. You thought the transfer portal was crazy before. Now, watering things down, I don't know if it's watering down so much. Look, you pick any college baseball team. Now, if I can offer you a scholarship, the elite are going to remain the elite, if not become more elite. Think about Georgia and what Kirby Smart, and think about what Ohio State and Alabama have done, Texas has done. Billionaires now going to be able to throw more money at guys, more scholarships. Come on. See, baseball, look, truth be told, baseball scholarship total should probably be around 28. Softball 25, I'm okay with that. Volleyball to 18, I'd have probably, if I put volleyball probably at 15, I would look at baseball would probably be about 28, softball would be about 25. You don't need the pitching in softball that you need in baseball. That's why more scholarships in baseball. Softball, you can get away with 3 people on the mound for a whole season. Baseball, you need more than 3 people every weekend. Football, 85 to 105 is ridiculous. If you really wanted to create more of a competitive balance in college football, you reduce the number of scholarships. You wouldn't add. Kirby Smart's got 5-star guys coming off the bench. Kirby Smart's got 5-star guys that are third stringers. You cut scholarships from 85 to 75, all of a sudden your depth's not there anymore. You reduce depth. Look at teams in the NFL. 53-man roster. It tests what you do with your depth, doesn't it? Could you, basically with 5-star guys, when you go to 105 scholarships, you're basically saying, hey man, whatever guys can pay the most, whatever NIL can pay the most, you can stockpile as much talent as you want. You thought recruiting classes were out of control before, and they went. Could you imagine what Kirby's going to do with 20 more scholarships against you in whatever school you are with 20 scholarships? The rich are going to get richer here. In all of these aspects, the rich are going to get richer. They are. But not so much more in football. Oh my God. Good gracious. Look, you want to sell them? Go ahead and sell them. Give it away. But when you can come to me and say, we're going to add 70 scholarships, if education was that valuable, come on. This is the equivalent of what you saw a couple years ago when you're handing out free money, inflation kicks in, goes through the roof. Handing everybody $600 paychecks, $1,200 paychecks, basically burned the economy for 3 years. It did. What's going on there? Again, go ahead, knock yourself out. Go for it. Can't tell me scholarships are special anymore. Again, there's a sharing cap, and the money's going to get shared, and everybody's excited about this. Okay. 35 or 34 for baseball is too many. Softball's probably about right. Volleyball's probably too much. There's no way on earth football should be getting more scholarships. If you really wanted competitive balance, you'd reduce the number, but that's not the point. What this does tell you, printing money, but we've known that they're printing money. And at the end of the day, this is the NCAA's way of, hey, look, we're going to add scholarships. Oh, nice. It's an illusion, gang. Leave it if you want. From that to this. The Rays. The Rays trade parade. This happened in the offseason with Glasnow. The Rays do a good job of always finding return on their investment. They get out right in the right amount of time, especially the last 7 or 8 years. They've been very good at this. Better at it than anybody in baseball. It's not exactly the same because they don't have the titles to go with it, but it's what Bill Belichick would do. They get the most out of somebody, trade him, get something in return, and go for it. That's what he's very good at. The Rays do it. They're not going to hand out any big-time deals. The one time they did hand out a big-time deal, yikes. Yeah. Didn't work out, did it? So, look, people like Randy Arozarena. He's going to get traded. If not now, he'll be traded. He will not make it to next year's trading deadline. He's got 2 years of controlled money left. He's making $8.1 million this year, which means he's going to make about $14 million next year. They're not going to do that. They're not. Zach Eflin, he's in the second year of a 3-year, $40 million deal. Big chunk of that, almost half of it, kicks in next year. Dude's going to get traded in the offseason or before the trading deadline. And the third guy there, Isaac Paredes, I said a couple weeks ago, I'm like, what on earth are you thinking, dude? I mean, this guy's going to be 25 and 90. He's going to do it 3 straight years. I thought, man, give him the big bucks. And then you realize, wait a second here. Go down and look at what they've got. They've got Carson Williams in the minors. Was he a AA? Dude's going to steal, 30 bases this year and hit 25 home runs? He's a shortstop, but he also can play third base. So let's say that's just the shortstop position. Paredes is third. I know. Wait, hold on here. We got other dudes here. Caminero is the big guy, right? He's the big top stud prospect that is going, if they trade Paredes, it's time for him to come up. There's another dude, 30 home runs, steal 30 bases. He could be a 30-30 guy at third base or shortstop. So they've got 2 guys essentially on the left side of the infield being like, all right, we're ready. We're ready. Now, Caminero will be up in September. I'm not so sure about Williams, but look, this team is loaded at the positions that they're talking about moving. The one thing also out here, you talk about a Arozarena, and at first I thought, man, yeah, money-wise. And then I see, what was it, Chandler Simpson, the outfielder? Dude's hitting 330, and he's on pace to steal like 55 bases. So you got a guy waiting in the minor leagues that, again, he's not quite up there. He's not AAA yet, right? So you got all these studs at AA and AAA, the Rays do, that are hitting like 300, power hitting 30 home run average, or on pace third baseman and shortstops, 20 home runs. All these dudes are stealing like 30, 40 bases. And then you've got a guy in the outfield that could end up stealing 50 bases at AAA this year, AA this year. The Rays are loaded in each of these positions. So when I was sitting here thinking, okay, they shouldn't make a move, they hold on to these guys, I'd move them all. Now, the one you could say that they maybe not move is Eflin, because Mason Montgomery's the Rays' best minor league prospect on the mound. At least he was coming into the year. Dude's 0-6 with a +6 ERA. So, oh boy. There's other guys, too, in the minor leagues that, pitching-wise, but the Rays have decent starting pitching. They're just all hurt. But here's the other thing, too, gang. You trade Randy Arozarena and Zach Eflin, and you get prospects on the mound in return. You already got third base, shortstop, and the outfield taken care of. The Rays going to be pretty salty here as these guys start to come up through the system. And look, letting Kiermaier go a couple years ago, everybody loved him, but he's going to retire at the end of the year. You look around, they do a pretty good job of getting guys out right before. Longoria went on to have a nice career outside of Tampa. But other than that, they do a pretty good job when it comes to this. So what do I do? I mean, look, if you get a good deal, if you get a good offer for these guys, fine. If not, wait till the offseason. There's always room in the offseason. And with the Arozarena, they don't like to get into these arbitration years near the end one way or another, and look, he's not putting up the numbers that he did, at least batting average wise. Randy Arozarena is still on pace to steal 30 plus bases. Randy Arozarena is still on pace to hit over 20 home runs. He's 20-20 every year of his career, which is amazing. 21, 22, 23, 24. Randy Arozarena with 20 home runs. What's he, 5 away from that? Will be 20-20 for 4 straight years. Now, the batting average has gone from, 274 down to 215. So he's working to get it back up there. Dodgers are interested. If I'm the Rays, I'm like, okay, I want a pitching prospect for both of these guys. Or 2. Then Eflin, I don't know what you're looking at in return for him. But I look at these guys. Chandler Simpson outfield. Again, dude's hitting like a 340 and 50 stolen bases in the outfield. Carson Williams, shortstop. Dude, 14 home runs. Dude's going to steal 35 bases. And Caminero, we've talked about him in the past too. Guys, this franchise has got a pretty good solid core at the positions that they can trade. That's how trade works, right? You give me something that I need, I give you something you need. So what should the Rays do? The Rays should absolutely be sellers. Don't you dare buy. Don't you dare. And they're not. They did that a couple years ago. Was it Nelson Cruz? They had buyers and they lost to the Red Sox. Okay, and then they've had this reset. Last year made the playoffs, lost. Okay, this year's a rebuilding year. All these guys get hurt. Arozarena takes a step back. A certain shortstop. Yeah. And look, Paredes is having a good year. You can get something out of him. You got all these studs coming up. And I use it as an example. The Red Sox have an issue, not exactly the same, but going to be the same. They got maybe the best catcher in minor league baseball in Teal. And then they got Connor Wong that's hitting, 310? Going to hit 14 home runs behind the plate, having a good year. What do you do? Which one are you projecting in to be the bigger star? And if you're trying to save on payroll, the thing is you go younger, more years on contracts, more long-term deals. So if I were the Rays, the one of all these guys that that gives you probably the most in return is probably Paredes. People always overpay for pitchers. But the Rays do a pretty good job of this, is signing these guys that have arm injuries and you give them multi-year deals and the money kicks in the last year of the contract and you trade before that money kicks in. That's what they did with Glasnow. Look like they're going to be doing the same thing with Eflin. So 3 of the top 5 guys' payroll could be gone by this weekend. And next year they will be better than they were this year. So a lot of talent down there. A lot of talent. Not fire sale, but fill the gaps where you get. That's what they've been doing for years, and it's worked. Keep doing it. I wanted to wrap with this. The Olympics coming up. I like the Olympics. I'm not one of these people that hate on the Olympics. It's amazing how many people I love America, man. Love America. But hate Americans. Especially American athletes. Oh, they're entitled and they're spoiled. All right. We have a bunch of people here. Now, basketball team, yeah, big stars. There's athletes out here that are going to be millionaires. There's some of them are worth hundreds of millions in basketball. Also, some that aren't. There's certain people here that play for love of the sport, love of the game. Gymnasts can have nice lives, but millionaires? Simone Biles is a millionaire. Katie Ledecky has a chance to make some serious money. The NBA guys are loaded. WNBA players have a chance to make some serious money. But as I do and look at this, I'm one of these people, I like the Olympics. Now, here's what's happened. The Olympics, not what it used to be. Why? Well, because we love other sports. We've always loved other sports. Football's just too big. Well, horse racing was big too, and so was boxing at one point. So, come on. No, why? There's no bad guy anymore. Imagine a movie where everybody gets along. As a kid, you know as well as I do, you wanted nothing more than to beat the Soviets. Who's the bad guy? Who's the Ivan Drago? Who's the Red Army? Who's the bad guy? Who are you rooting against? England? Who are you rooting against? Now, there may be teams you think are arrogant. You know who the bad guy is now? We are. Team USA. For everybody else. At least in basketball. So there's no bad guy anymore. So I look around at this. When you come on, I want the Americans to win. I looked around and the events that I'm looking at least coming up, there are three things that you can cement. Katie Ledecky in the pool can become the second most decorated gold medalist behind Michael Phelps ever in the pool. That's pretty impressive. Male or female, that's pretty. She can Michael Phelps this Olympics. Simone Biles, remember she got the twisties last time and struggled. Redemption, she can goes out and has one of those performances, wins a couple gold. Like if Team USA can win a team gold and she can win an individual gold in one of the events. There you go with that. She's probably already exceeded expectations because it's multiple Olympics for her. But yeah. The other one in here too, Caleb Dressel can be the second most decorated male Olympian in the pool behind Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps is the bar, right? Katie Ledecky probably not going to quite get to those. Well, he's got 19 gold medals. That's just ridiculous. To get there, it's absurd. You're not going to get there. We did over 3 Olympics too. Maybe she'd come back one more time. Maybe she'd have a crack at that out in LA, but not going to happen this year. But those are the 3 big things. Caleb Dressel, chance to become the second greatest Olympian in the pool behind Michael Phelps as a male. Katie Ledecky can be in between those two. When this Olympics over, it could be Michael Phelps with the most golds, Katie Ledecky with the second most, and Dressel with the third most. Go Gators, right? So there you go. And also the dream team going for their 8th gold in 9 Olympics. 92. Is that Barcelona? 96 Atlanta. 2000 Sydney. 04 lost that one in Greece. 08 Beijing. 12 London. We go up and down the list here when it comes to these. Tokyo, yeah. Brazil, 16. This team, since pros started to play 32 years ago, won every one. We're going for their 7th out of 8? 17th gold overall. And LeBron lost his first Olympics in 04. He can kind of cap that. And his last Olympics, probably Steph Curry's last Olympics, Kevin Durant's last Olympics. So, it's about 3 pretty big monster guys that are walking off into the sunset. Probably the most star-studded Hall of Fame legacy group, those big 3, since 92. So, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to watch it. I'm not going to poo-poo the Olympics. So those are the big things that I'm checking out when it comes to what we're going to see in Paris. So enjoy. Have a little fun with it. Harp on Sports, The Bar, podcast, media, audio, radio network. Follow, share, like, subscribe. At Harp on Sports Twitter, at Harp on Sports Instagram. Auditory route, Buzzsprout, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Harp on Sports, The Bar, Harp on Sports Facebook page, Harp on Sports YouTube channel, and of course, harponsports.com. Remember, stay clean, stay focused, stay strong. Frankenstein, have fun with your friends.